Hey, everybody. Hi. Um, okay, so today I am going to be talking about overcoming research paralysis, strategies for that naturally curious procrastinator. So, if you are a naturally curious person and you find yourself tied up in endless research because it's actually more fun than doing the actual work, I want you to put in the comments naturally curious or any type of thing that's going to tell me that you are there and that you have this issue and need to overcome it. Okay, so if you are watching this live, please put a hashtag live in the comments, and if you are watching the replay, put in a hashtag replay. And I'd love to chat with you. Hi, Diane. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Please make sure that you are engaging with this video in the comments. It really does help get it into the feed so other people can see it, and then other people can get helped by my by this little course. I guess it's a mini course that I'm offering to you today. Okay, so today we're talking about the naturally curious procrastinator and how to overcome research analysis, right? So, what does that mean, right? The natural curious, I can't tell you how many clients I have had tell me that they're just such a naturally curious person, and it actually prevents them from getting things done because they enjoy the research process. They enjoy learning, right? And and so it just makes it really difficult to get anything done, right? Because by the time their window of time is up, they really haven't gotten it very far in their thing, right? So that naturally curious person is going to have like that insatiable curiosity. They're going to have like fear of missing out, like fear of missing information, right? So FOMI, I guess, or they worry they might be missing that important information that's going to be the thing that cracks the code, right? They enjoy the research process, and they get into perfectionism because they're worried that they don't know enough to get started. And I'm here to tell you, you know enough to get started in your business. If you haven't started and if you keep putting it off because you're in fear that you don't know enough, that is just bunk. You know enough to get started, okay? Okay, so one of the reasons why this causes procrastination is because you get overwhelmed by too much information and you get in what we call analysis paralysis, right? Too much information, too many decision points, too many things going on, and it just paralyzes you. And then that fear of perfectionism, right? That or fear of not being perfect. If you have that issue and you are constantly doing research to try to make sure that you can get it perfect, that's another problem. And you know what? You'll never, ever, ever be perfect. So there's no point in even trying. Okay? There's always going to be room for improvements. Things are always going to change. Nothing is ever going to be perfect when it comes to you and your business. So give that up right now. Put in the comments, I give up perfectionism. And then sometimes it's just avoiding the execution of it, right? You just avoid actually having to do it because it's not fun to do the work. It's more fun to research how to do the work, what to do, all of that. But when it comes down to actually implementing, it's no fun, okay? And then seeking certainty, right? You want to be absolutely sure you're doing the right thing. And that one can be a tough one. That one can be a really tough one to overcome. But I'm here to tell you that it's really best for you to make a decision and go and try something rather than just worrying to death over that you don't have it right, or it's not perfect, or you don't quite have you aren't going to make the right decision or whatever, okay? So, how do you overcome these problems? The first one is set research limits. You can only do so much. And so, one of the things that I try to help my clients with is to learn how to research just enough to get the job done, right? So, let's say you're trying to do something simple like, I don't know, build your website, right? And you need to learn how to first stand up your website and connect your domain. Well, when you're doing the research for that, or if you're looking on YouTube, or if you're using the videos that your software provider has or whatever, you only want to do the research that involves doing that one thing, connecting your domain. You don't want to go down the rabbit hole of how to create a beautiful page, or how to write your copy, or all the other little facets of building a website, right? You only want to focus on that one area and do the research just for that area. And this is really common, and I want to tell you why we do this. The reason why is because when I was in IT, as a software developer, and we were learning like new languages and stuff. Like, we went from an old language called COBOL to a new language called Java or .NET, okay? And the thing is that when you're in that type of environment, you're asked to do very complex things when you're just a beginning coder, right? And you aren't really a beginning coder. You know the basics because you've been coding for years in the other language. You just are now trying to do it in the new language, right? And so what we would do is do the research to just do that one thing that we needed to do. We didn't have time to learn every single thing about Java, right? We already had the basics down. We knew the basics. We'd gone to a course. Now we needed to do something more complex. So we had to go and research how to do that one complex thing. We did not have time to learn every single thing there is to learn about Java. That takes a lifetime. And so we didn't, right? So that's what the idea here is that you just need to learn enough to get that particular job done, okay? So set good research limits, allocate only a specific amount of time. If you need to use the Pomodoro technique, where you're using this little cube, that you have, and you can just set it for, say, 30 minutes. I'm only going to allow myself 30 minutes to find, the resources that I need, and then watch those videos. Or maybe it's an hour, whatever you want, but set a limit, because if you don't, you can end up way down a rabbit hole. And the thing is, if you set a time limit, you're gonna try to prevent yourself from going down that rabbit hole or getting distracted with other things, because you only have a set amount of time to actually do that thing, learn that thing, and get it done, right? And so by setting those research limits, using the Pomodoro technique will help you set a time frame around that, so you don't do that. The other one is scope limit, and we talked about that, is you have to just stay within the scope of what you're trying to learn. You're only trying to learn how to connect your domain to your website. That's all you're going to focus on. You're not going to worry about all of the other things, okay? And then prioritizing action over perfection is huge. Let me tell you, I cannot tell you how many of my clients get so stuck in perfectionism that they cannot move forward. And I mean, I almost have to get like firm with them, like, no, you've got to move forward. You've got to just make a decision and go. And so, that's why you don't want to over research. When you over research, then you have way too much information, makes it really difficult for you to make a decision. And then another way you can do it is dealing with doing the iterative approach to developing things. And I talk about this all the time. I'm all about iterative development because it does keep you out of perfectionism, and you can learn as you go, right? So think about that website, right? The first thing is you need to get your domain attached, right? You get your domain attached, and then you can stand up your website, and you don't need to learn how to create a massive page or anything. You can just stand up a little template page and get it up so that you can actually see it on the web and it's published. Now, once it's published, you can do the next iteration, which would be starting to design your homepage. Then the next iteration, that's designing, an opt-in page or a squeeze page or whatever. And then your next iteration, designing your thank you page. But you don't have to do everything at once. You keep using the iterative approach to doing things, and it will make a huge, huge difference in how much you get done. And you also, when you're doing that, you're prioritizing, right? So Remember how we prioritize in Scrum? Must have, should have, could have, and won't have at this time, right? When you do that type of prioritizing, it's easy for you to see what is the actual must have that you need to get done. And then when you do the next iteration, you prioritize again, and then you do the must haves, and then you keep doing that process over and over again until you have all the things done that you need to do, right? And then a research plan, you could actually create a research plan if it's a larger type of thing, if it's not something simple like connecting your domain, but maybe it's a large thing that you need to do, and you actually need to do several hours of research in specific areas for a particular project you're working on. So you'll want to set some specific goals, right? Specific goals that have a scope to them so that you're not over researching and getting yourself down a rabbit hole. Having accountability, working with a coach, having that coach help you to not only define the scope, but then help you focus your time and energy on the specific areas that you need to research. And even, if you, depending on your coach, but for me, I give my people very, very specific things that they can Google search, or do in ChatGPT or whatever, very specific prompts so that it's easy for them to find the information. I'll even find the information for them sometimes. It really does help to have that accountability and support. And then the last thing really is that you've got to embrace imperfection. I can't tell you how many people get caught in perfectionism. It is just it's really a business killer, and you're never going to be perfect, so you really got to let go of perfectionism and just stay focused on the task at hand and what you're trying to do. And that's one of the reasons why I create systems, right? I create efficiency systems, because those systems kind of help you stay in a management mode of tasks rather than in this discovery mode, right? You create efficiencies, and now you're just repeating those processes over and over. And as you repeat, you're refining, but you're not expanding on the scope, right? So that's the idea with, avoiding perfectionism and using efficiency systems to keep you focused on a management task rather than this discovery every single time you go to do something, right? Okay, so I hope that helps. I know I went through it really fast, but I know your time is very valuable, so get back to work. But also, I am having a masterclass on next Wednesday. It is next Wednesday, the 26th, I believe. Yeah, to the 26th. So be sure to get signed up. You can get signed up. It should be in the description of this video, and you can get signed up on thescrumshop.com/sign-up. Okay, that is on Wednesday at the same time, 11 o'clock, and it's on Zoom, so you can't get it just by being in my group. You've got to get signed up and come to the Zoom call, because it is just fat on all kinds of goodies that are going to help you. If you go right into implementation, you'll be able to get some major things accomplished on your website and in your marketing that will help you start attracting more leads to your website and more qualified leads to your website. So be sure and join me. It's kind of a fun little thing, and you're going to be all ready to implement when you get done. So I hope you'll join me. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, of course, always leave something in the comments. Leave your questions in the comments or DM me. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Okay? All right, guys, I'll see you in the comments.